Good morning, and welcome to the weekly multi-platform service of Tri-County Unitarian Universalist based in Summerfield, Florida. We acknowledge that we occupy the ancestral, traditional, and contemporary lands of the indigenous Florida peoples. I am Eileen McCabe, and your service leader for today. Hello to our members and friends, and a special welcome to those of you who may be visiting us for the first time. Unitarian Universalists are united not by a creed of shared beliefs, but by a covenant of shared values. We celebrate that we do not need to think alike to love alike. It is our respect and encouragement of each other's diversity of thought that truly binds us together. For the curious and the seekers, Unitarian Universalist values and covenant may be found in the order of service on our website, TriUU.org. Our newsletter can also be found there under News and Events. We have a few announcements, but first, please mute your phone or put it in airplane mode. If you're looking for Reverend Christina, she is not here today. She is on vacation, and she will be back August 2nd. And please stay after today's service and join us for our monthly bagel breakfast. This concludes our announcements, and as we now begin the service proper, we will recite our vision statement. Please join us with your voice as we recite together. We will be an influential voice across religious values in a diverse community. Our chalice keeper today is Trish Schwartzberg. We invite those of you joining us on Zoom to light your chalice at home.
We light this chalice as a symbol of the light within every human heart. May our individual sparks meet and merge, bringing both light and warmth to the world.
Thanks, Tom. Good morning. This morning, we are doing something a little bit different, kind of all the way through the service. And we are going to be honoring the directions this morning as our opening and part of our opening and part of our closing. This is a ritual that comes from the earth peoples, the indigenous peoples. Specifically, we've used it in the Native American traditions, pagan traditions, and really probably all the ancient earth traditions honored the directions in some way. So this is just the way we're going to do it today. So I will point to the directions and then we will honor each direction. We begin by opening this space in all directions, welcoming balance, grounding, and connection. The East. We call to the East the direction of air, the breath that moves through us, the clarity that helps us see freshly, the curiosity that opens our minds. May the gifts of air be present here. To the South. We call to the South the direction of fire, the spark of courage, the warmth of community, the energy that helps us speak honestly. May the gifts of fire be present here. To the West. We call to the West the direction of water, the flow of emotion, the deep well of compassion, the healing that comes from being understood. May the gifts of water be present here. And as a side note, we honor the water ritual every week with our transition ceremony. It's actually an ancient ritual. To the North, which is to the behind. We call to the North the direction of earth, the strength beneath our feet, the grounding of shared values, the steadiness that holds us in community. May the gifts of earth be present here. Center. And we call to the center, the place where we gather, where our stories meet, where love lives among us. May this circle be open and may it also be unbroken. The space is open. Let our time together begin.
You're invited now to stand as you are able to sing the hymn. No. Hymn 347. As we move deeper into our service, let us turn inward to consider transitions, the joys, the sorrows, and the concerns we all experience in life's journey. There are 3 bowls of stones of different colors representing the gratitude of joy, the grief of sorrow, and the hope of concern. After those present have placed in the water, our ushers will place stones from each of the bowls in the water on behalf of those not physically present and those who have not chosen or who are unable to come forward. Those online are invited to type into the chat what is in your heart. When all the stones have been mingled into the water and have been shared, we will take a moment for silent meditation or prayer. As the sound of the bell brings us back into community, we will sing our response, "Find a Stillness." But before we place the stones, I have a sad announcement. Connie Stanley, aged 101, after 5 days in hospice, has passed away. Charlie has not made arrangements. And Charlie, our heartfelt sadness is with you. Ushers, you may now come forward. Let us take a moment to reflect upon our own joys, sorrows, and concern, and those of others. will now receive our offering. If you're visiting us for the first time, please do not feel obligated to give. You are our guest, and we are happy to have you here with us today. This is the time in our service when those who wish to make some monetary contribution to our congregation's vision and mission give to support this community and its outreach. I invite the ushers to come forward.
Um, I need to raise it just a little bit. There we go, right eye level. Good morning, friends, and welcome to our Coffee House Sunday. Every now and then, we gather in a way that's a little different, a little looser, a little tastier, a lot more focused on being together. Today is one of those mornings. You may wonder how we choose themes like this. The truth is, it grows out of conversations many of us have been having in real life about what spiritual maturity looks like. Not in theory, not in books, but in the way we show up for one another. We often talk about being like-minded, as if we all agree on everything, but that's not who we are. We're a community. We are not a community with dogma or required beliefs. I'm like, what? We're a community of seekers, questers, learners, and people who sometimes surprise each other. That's a gift. If we assume everyone thinks just like we do, we will never know who we are talking with, who we are walking with. And honestly, the joy of this place, the spiritual nourishment, comes from discovering who we are together. Real connection is what keeps us coming back. And connection matters because our time with each other is precious. People move, people drift, people change, and some people leave the world before we expect it. We don't always get unlimited chances to know one another. Each of us has to do our own connecting, so mornings like this are an invitation not to miss out. Our purpose this morning is simple: to strengthen our connections and explore new values together in a relaxed atmosphere. Our values teach life, and of course they have political and spiritual dimensions. Otherwise, they wouldn't matter. But today, it's not about politics. This is about us, how we live these values in our own lives. in our congregation and our lives. Okay, now this is the really edgy part. Some of you may have gone to summer camp, and you might know what this is about. In a moment, we're going to count off from 1 to 6. And that number will be on your table in the back. This helps us mix things up a bit so we can get to know people we might not normally sit with. But as always, let's be welcoming to whoever lands at our table. Once you know your table number, which you will have counted off with, you can head over and settle in. We will have food after the conversations, but you're welcome to grab some coffee or tea if we're opened up, which we aren't. If a table ends up feeling too full or too empty, just adjust naturally. You can grab chairs from the table 7 that we made in abundance of caution and don't need. Each table will have one of our shared values from Article 2, along with conversation prompts. Choose whichever prompts your group prefers, or if you're overachievers, you can do all 3. You'll have about 30 minutes or so, 20 minutes, and we'll let the conversation flow naturally. When the room begins to quiet, and it always does, we'll gather back together. After that, each table is invited to share an insight or two, a discovery, or a moment from the conversation. Before you begin, pick someone at your table to serve as your spokesperson, someone who can help the group notice what you might want to share or help sum up the heart of what was said. For now, relax, sit, talk, listen, and let's make some real connections this morning. Okay, so we're going to let our president start the count. Okay? Yeah? You say 3. Good. No, you're 4. Okay, good. Yeah. 6, 7? Okay. Or maybe you could be 6 together if you want to. Okay. Okay, 1? That's fine. 1? No, only to 6. So she said 1, you say 2. Okay. Okay, she is not paying attention. There we go. You're 5. You're 5. Okay, you'd be 6. Okay. Right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She's going to be 1. Okay. I'm lost. Where are you? Okay, where's 1 again? There's 1? 6. Okay. And the lady who's leaving is 1. Okay, I think we're up to you. You're 4 now. Mm-hmm. You are 6. Right there? Okay, and then way over here. That's Andrea. Nope. 1. There you go. Okay. Okay, I think we did it. Okay. Okay, the rest of you count out.
3, 4, 5, 2.
Okay, I believe some of us have been to summer camp. So the kitchen is open and apparently ready. And so if you want to go back and get some drinks and then make your way to the table that matches your number,
Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to see a slideshow on the UU values, and our group is going to be the last one. We're going to talk about love, and I have some questions to ask, and then I will be reporting the gist of it back to the whole gathering. Once we get back to that point. And then I guess after that, the service will end and we'll go on our way. But that's the extent of my understanding of this at this time. Several people have left the gathering. I'm not sure about this part. I'm looking at the slide deck. I'll start reading that to you all. And because we're unable to share for technical reasons. The first value is interdependence. We honor the interdependent web of all existence. With reverence for the great web of life and with humility, we acknowledge our place in it. We covenant to protect Earth and all beings from exploitation. We will create and nurture sustainable relationships of care and respect, mutuality and justice. We will work to repair harm and damaged relationships. Our next value is pluralism. We celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. The next value is justice. We work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. We covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression. We support the use of inclusive democratic processes to make decisions within our congregation, our association, and society at large. Next one is transformation. We adapt to the changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritages, never complete and never perfect. The next value, generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to frequently and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. Another value, equity. We declare that every person has the right to flourish with inherent dignity and worthiness. We covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. Now, this is the part where we have to pay more attention. The value at the center is love. And so we're asking a question, a personal connection to love. Share a moment when you felt deeply cared for, supported, or valued. What does that experience teach you about love at the center? Anyone want to go first? Hello? We only have a few here that are unmuted. Do we have a personal connection to love? And what does that experience teach you about love at the center? Does it make does it make sense to have love at the center? I say it does. All right, let's move on to the next one, love in community. Where have you seen love at the center in a community you've been part of? How did that love shape the relationships or the cultures? I know that I see love all the time at TriUU in all different kinds of ways. Probably the number one for me would be in the welcoming aspects of TriUU, which are outstanding. I haven't been a member that long, but that's my primary experience of TriUU. Does anyone else want to comment?
Kim, I'm not sure, as we're going over each one, we're supposed to respond. I thought we were supposed to reflect at the end of everything. I want to participate. I just need a little more direction. So, for example, the first one, when we talked about the individual connection to love, and then now we're going on to another a phase of love and community. Are we to respond each one, or do you want to do it all at the end?
I want you to respond to the questions I'm asking now. We're not going over the values one by one. We don't have time. So the first question was to share a moment when you felt deeply cared for, supported, or valued. And what does that experience teach you about love at the center? The next one is love in community. Where have you seen love at the center in a community you've been part of? And there are lots of communities just besides TriUU. How did that love shape the relationships or the culture?
I don't know if I can trust my voice very long because I have a cold, but so that's why I didn't respond right away. I feel love all the time for people that thank me all the time for the things that I do for TriUU. And I try to thank everyone else for the things they do. With all of us together, it really um, keeps our whole community together. And to me, it's the most important thing that we do in UU.
Well, that's good, and I'm sorry you're sick.
Yeah, me too. Thank
um,
you.
I'll share. With my first thought about love, the experience of love. Spiritually, I had that experience when I was 19, without any effort on my part. I had a riveting sense of oneness in loving myself and others without any effort. And I have been pursuing that experience to understand its meaning and finding it manifested in so many other areas of my life. I feel, in terms of community, with that self-acceptance I have, I see that same mirrored in the acceptance we all have for one another outside of religious tenets. I feel love is the core because when I even looked at scripture, and even when I hear today, for example, I was on a post and I said I was a lesbian, you had to see some of the negative responses. And people kept citing laws, God's laws. And I realized, it brought me back to the realization when Jesus said, that people distorted the image of God and cast stones on others in the name of law and righteousness, as opposed to feeling love for somebody that may have been felt broken and suffering. And I think that's the essence of love. It's not judgment. It's acceptance, and obviously that manifests itself in actually, we talk about social justice. It has to be concretized and manifested in action for it, I think, to be authentic, for love to really be visible in an invisible way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kathy. That was fascinating. The third question involves love as a guiding force. How does love at the center, how does love at the center guide your choices, your ethics, or the way you show up for others? What does it ask of you or invite you toward? Is there anybody who'd like to comment on that?
Well, again, if no one wants to talk, I have no problem, obviously. But I would say, I think this is very important because I think love for me has manifested in my experience with people who have been downtrodden. I felt that, the scripture says that if you really want to encounter sacred love, that you'll find that with the downtrodden, with the sick, the poor. It's when I encountered people, what happened was when you're downtrodden, you don't have the normal mass personas. There's so much more authenticity there. And in that moment, I think there's real connection and authenticity. So I think that's what love it does. It draws us to a deeper connection, and it's most visible for me and palpable when I encounter authenticity.
That's fantastic. That's very good.
I have an example I thought of today. I saw Charlie there when they did the Stones. I was so happy to see that he came in person. I was hoping when I heard that Connie had died that he would show up again because he's been staying home with her, and here he was because we're the community that supports people when they're in need. And I'm so glad to see him come back.
Yeah, that's excellent, especially at a very trying time of his life.
Yeah.
It's what he needs to get through it and heal. Yes, Joan. And hopefully Charlie will,
So how many?
continue to join with TriUU. Hello? Do we have anyone else?
Anybody? Anybody?
Hi, good
Well,
morning.
good morning.
Yes, at work, so I cannot go on video.
Okay.
For me, love is a guiding force. The experience of it is shown really in my work because it's the love for what I do that guides me to care for the people I care for because I see it as so I see love in that as a guiding force to move forward every day, despite how I may feel when I get up each morning or look in the nights when I'm to go in. I look at it as I see it then as that guiding force that pushes me forward when I really want to stay in my bed at night and get a good sleep. So that's my experience with love as a guiding force.
Yeah, I think we all want to stay in bed sometimes. I could have stayed in bed most of this year as far as that's concerned and never get up
Oh.
because it's all terrible. Um, it, you know, I mean, it's just, it doesn't quit. And we still have to wait months until the election comes.
Mhm.
And it's just beyond words for me.
I would like to add that I really think that we don't have to create love. We are already love. See, I think sacred, it's a spirit, it's a life force, an energy within us. And whether we believe it's in the form of an entity or not, I think regardless of our individual religious tenets of belief, that we cannot deny that it's such a life force. And it requires not that we have to create it, it's more of allowing it to come to the forefront. That's the choice. It's a willingness, an intentionality of releasing and receiving what is already. And that took me almost, I would say, a lifetime because I got caught up in the doing. Not that that was a bad thing, but I think this harmonious balance that I'm experiencing now is because I understand this dynamic of love, which is the essence of my soul. It's the essence of sacredness. And then I surround myself now with people like my TriUU family, people who share the same realization of the importance of love and integrity and truth, especially as you brought up, Kim, in this world. And this, I can lose sometimes politically, and I need this grounding because otherwise I could just morph into negativity. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a TriUUer.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. It would be very easy negativity and just turn the world off and retreat into a cave somewhere and just never come out. And it's just unbelievable. And there's so many things going on right now. It's not even that you can take hold of any one thing and beat it back. There's too many things, and it's just very discouraging. Um,
That's why
I,
we have our Sanity Island. I love that for our stewardship this year. It just has helped all of us so much, I think, to think of our TriUU family as our Sanity Island.
Love that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, Yeah, who dreamed up the idea of Sandy Island anyway?
Love
Is
it.
that,
Well, Pat Felton's on that team, and I remember asking who came up with it because Nancy Smith was on it and Jan Freeman, and I'm not for sure. I think somebody said, well, it was Pat because Pat comes up with these things. She's great with stuff like that, and all the doo-doos that go with it. All the anyway. I can't think today.
that's okay. Yeah, I hope whatever you have it
It's
passes
a
quickly.
it's a cold. I started with it Thursday evening, and I've just been down now for this third day now. I was hoping I'd be. I don't know why I thought I'd be able to go today. Usually it takes at least 3 days, so we'll see. It's
Yeah,
following its natural progression.
yeah,
Thank you,
yeah,
everybody.
yeah. I think you're right that it takes the time it takes, and
Mm,
you just have to allow your body to
yeah.
take over and find the healing. Um, Maybe harder to feel the love and at the center of everything because you're sick.
No, I feel it. I feel it from everyone. It's just wonderful, the comments and all. And I'm just glad that I was able to get on here and be part of this today. It was disappointing not to be able to be there in the room, but it's kind of fun to be with y'all on Zoom too.
Yeah, someone had mentioned, I think it was Myra, that you were sick. And so I half expected not to see you. Um, because I know when I'm sick, I don't want to deal with anything else. And but if you're sick, there's probably others out there who are sick also and going through the same thing. And I'm kind of stunned that so many people dropped out once we started this exercise. Um, I think we only have 9 left, and several of them are choosing not to speak, but that's okay. But I will be reporting back to the group, and I'm not sure exactly when that happens. I haven't. Let me see if there's any messages.
Yeah, she'll probably come on and say it's time for sharing. When that's I've been
Yeah,
part of organizing this service, and it's on the order of service too. This conversation, then she'll say, "Everybody, come back and share what you learned at your table." Someone to speak for it. It must have been a lower turnout today anyway. I wondered about this with a different service because she said count off to 6 tables, and that's all they need. So that's 36 people. Oh, that's not a lot. Then there's a few extras that aren't actually at table. I think
well, maybe some are
uh,
not here because
alone.
of Reverend Christina not being here either.
Yeah, there've been a few less the last few weeks from what I understood. I was out of town for 2 weeks, so I missed it. I watched one service online. I haven't watched the second one with Reverend York yet, but I was so hoping to be back today because I've been gone.
Yeah.
A lot of people are traveling. Yeah, doing other
Well,
things.
yeah.
Hey, Nancy,
Yes.
Hi, Corinne. Is it Corinne?
Tanya.
Oh, it's Sonia. Hi, Sonia. I wasn't sure which one. I was listening to voice, couldn't pick out for sure. Hi, Sonia.
I make sure you take your vitamin C and stay
Yeah,
hydrated.
yeah. I am. I drank some orange juice the last 2 days.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're
I've
welcome.
been drinking
Kim,
lots of
one of the
water.
other things, sorry, I'm sorry. Kim, the only thing that came to my mind when you said about our sharing today, I learned that listening is the other half of communication. And sometimes we just want to take it in. And I'm a blah blah, and I know I have that propensity. But I think in general, listening too is still being present.
You can hear me, but we can hear them too, so we need to mute the Zoom now. Thank you. There we go. Sorry to cut you off, you guys. You're doing so great. Okay, everybody, let's come back. You don't have to move. I'm gonna talk for a minute, and we're gonna do some business, and then you can have business. I'm just waiting for some attention. Everybody hear me? Okay, I'm going. As the room begins to quiet, we'll share our insights together. Each table will be invited to share one insight or moment from your conversation. Let's go in table number order, which is all over the place. So one get one and one get two. There's numbers on each table. You can find it. They're all over the place. Yeah. Okay. So now we're looking for table two. Who's table two? Two. Who's paying attention? I don't know. I can't mute the sanctuary. Dang it.
Hello.
No, we'll do that
This
later.
is table number
That's the
one,
last
reporting
table.
for duty.
There we go.
Okay. So at table number one, we talked about interdependence.
Yes.
And it was amazing that spontaneously, several members of the group discussed 9/11 and the effect that 9/11 had on various people, some of whom lived in Washington, D.C., some lived in New York, and how people came together. Often people who were competitive with each other and or not friends, who became in some cases, longtime friends. So hopefully that's a goal for people who honor independence, interdependence.
Okay, where's table two? There we go. Red mic.
Boy, I hate talking to a microphone. Scares the living daylights out of me. Anyway, I talked a little bit about my dyslexia and being in a Catholic school, going to Catholic church, and how I was rescued by the Unitarian Universalists. What does anybody else want to have to say?
Oh, great. First of all, I didn't know what equity meant and realized that it's not equality.
It's not.
No.
It's fairness.
But from what I'm understanding, everyone, well, not everyone, because I'm generalizing, that it was a realization that this whole congregation is just open-minded and welcoming to people who have never been here before, people who have been brought up in a variety of religions, and who've been in very judgmental religions. So we realized that equity, as far as this group, you can all just say something, is the fact that we're here without fear and judgment.
Okay, table 3. Who's near table 3? There it is.
Yeah,
Red.
ours was transformation. And, it's kind of interesting because in our table, you see, I think we've got probably one of the youngest people here. And this fine youngster here is 90. So there's a lot of perspectives on what transformation and what you do in transitions in your life. And Lord knows we've all been through a lot of different transitions. But you have to, approach your life with the understanding that there's going to be change, there's going to be transformation, there's going to be, just you have to have an acceptance of that. You can't just root yourself in your life and say, this is the way it's going to be always. You have to understand when those windows come up and do the best thing that you can do for yourself and just keep moving. And we had some great stories here of people who were, you're living your life this way, going, 100 miles an hour, and all of a sudden things come to a stop and you have to, make a turn, make a decision. And it may be a big decision. You may go back the other way. It may go to take a left or a right. So it's just the way you have to live your life is to be able to transform yourself at any time. So.
Cool. Table, I think we're on table 5. 4. There we go. Black mic, table 4.
I'm the other half of the king. I'm the other half of the kings. Ours was pluralism and learning from each other. We started out sharing a lot of our personal experiences, most of which were not that positive when we interacted with others of different religions, sexuality, whatever, how we weren't welcomed, whatever. And I think where we wound up was that there's kind of a split in how we deal with it. Some people just stick with the UUs because that's where they're welcome and so forth, and they're kind of afraid to interact with others. And then others are curious, and even though they don't necessarily agree, they still want to hear the other perspectives. They may not ever agree with them, whatever. But it was interesting how strongly people are afraid to mention their political or their religious or their faith because of how they're going to get reactions from those around them. So no easy answers, but that's kind of where we wound up.
Cool. And then I think we're on 5.
5 already?
It's Aaron.
Am I live?
Well, take the red one. Aaron, this one's on.
Yeah, take the red one. Yeah.
Okay. We had justice, and what we really determined is that unfairness is a catalyst for judgment through friends, dating, dealing with our civilizations. We've seen racial discrimination, inferred injustice, native discrimination, and what it does was cause us to question our opinions, have our own opinions, take action, and step up to see where society fails. Justice is unfairness and how it can reshape us for fairness.
So justice and equity are tied together. 6.
So our table was generosity, and we discussed the multiple ways that generosity could be expressed. Not all of them would seem to have value, simple little things. And I also had an example myself of generosity when somebody didn't do something. When I was a young apprentice carpenter, I really should have been fired on a job, and my boss was very generous to keep me. And Lenore also mentioned recently that twice when she was out at a restaurant having dinner, somebody bought her dinner. And there was a sweet moment of anonymous generosity. I think she may have had a secret admirer, actually.
She's due. Okay, 7. Red mic.
Well, we also had generosity. And if there were a thread that we would sew through our tapestry, it would be the generosity of the people in this community. And people gave examples of how, when one person was in the hospital, even though he'd been in the villages for 10 years, it wasn't the neighbors that came to visit him. It was the people from here. Another person brought up the importance of asking for help. And we agreed that it is so difficult to ask for help. But when one person did ask for help, the person she asked said yes immediately. And I think that's a wonderful lesson for me and for everyone, to ask for help because it is there.
Okay, now it's time for the Zoom report. So we're
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. We were at the center of the values at Love, and love is a matter of self-acceptance and not being cowed by those who cite God's law and throw stones and criticize, especially for different loving people. Love is a guiding force, and as shown in people's work and caring for others. It's a feeling of being pushed forward and into the light, even when a lot of times we'd rather just stay in bed because the things that are going on around us are just too horrible to contemplate. And love is a life force that doesn't need creation, it's already there. It's just a question of the individual allowing love to come in and to be part of the community. So that was, and several people said that we're surrounded by love from the TriUU community, and that's a good thing. So that's us.
That was great. Very good. I was kind of worried you wouldn't talk, so awesome. As we come back together, I want to thank you for the conversations you've just shared. These mornings remind us that community isn't something we simply have, it's something we continually create with one another. What you talked about today, the insights, the stories, the laughter, the surprises, these are the threads that strengthens our shared life. I was struck by the fact that even though I didn't tell you to, I think you all related the values to this place. You know, not just to yourselves, but also to here. And that's really cool, because that's a great way to think about it, because that's what it's all about, really. 2 weeks ago when I was in the service prepping for this, I turned the order service over, and I looked at the values while she was talking, and I pointed to each value as she said it. She said something that related to that. This is great fun. The conversations don't have to stop here. You can do these conversations anytime. I can give you the prompts for the other teams if you want them, and you can work with them. Just let me know. And as we move into the rest of the week, may something from your conversation stay with you, a moment of connection. Maybe you made a friend, I hope. A new perspective, or simply the feeling of being part of something larger than yourself. Before we all go, I will need help resetting the tables. But first, it's Bagel Sunday, so please enjoy. Take your time, grab something tasty, and continue the conversations we began this morning. Now, hang on for the rest of the service. There's a little bit more. It's not over.
It's right here. I don't want to touch it.
Thank you, Myra, and thank you for everyone being willing to participate.
Can't hear you.
A holy place.
My heart is in a holy place. My heart is in a holy place. My perfect love and eternal grace. My heart is in a holy place.
I invite anyone who is here for the first time, if you care to, please introduce yourself, raise your hand, and one of the ushers will bring you a microphone. You must hold the microphone close to you so that we can hear you.
We need to close the corners.
Hi, I'm Susan
that here.
Zingali-Baird. It's kind of a long last name. So yeah, I'm new. I've been in the Villages since August. I don't know what took me so long coming over. I've been attending UUCLC for 6 years, so I'm in transition between, talk about change, transition between the two congregations. I did talk to Reverend Christina, about visiting because she's our minister, as you know. So, but it's been a lovely experience. I'm in Eastport. I am in the news section. And if anyone lives anywhere near me, I would love to talk about carpooling because it was a little longer than I thought. When I hit 301 and they said 19 miles, I was like, where are you guys? And I still don't even know where I am. So here you go.
Pat is now going to bring us to closure by releasing the directions.
As we prepare to leave this sacred time, we gently release the directions. The North. We thank the North for grounding us. Earth, you may return to your quiet strength. The West. We thank the West for compassion and flow. Water, you may return to your deep currents. South. We thank the South for courage and warmth. Fire, you may return to your steady flame. East. We thank the East for clarity and breath. ere you may return to your open skies. Center. And we thank the center, this circle of people, this moment of connection. The space is gently closed, but the community remains.
Trish will now read our closing extinguishing message.
These words are written by Lois Van Leer. Having let go, set our intentions, named our curiosity, committed our energies, and given ourselves over to lives of balance, purpose, and meaning, let us begin again in love.
And for the benediction? What?
Next week, are we going to have comments on the service?
Oh, no, we're not. We're skipping comments on the service because we are long. Benediction. Go out into the world in faith. Show your love with generosity and courage. Be gentle with yourselves and kind to one another. Let the spirit of connection guide your steps. And may the work we do together ripple outward in compassion, justice, joy, and love. Go in peace, friends, and go together. Okay, thank you.
If you would like to receive regular communications on upcoming TriUU events, please fill out a guest card, which will be available at the door after the service. On August 11th, there will be a class for those wanting to know more about TriUU. You may sign up at the back of the room. Please join us for bagel breakfast after we have the post loop.